Liberata. Academic publishing, history and present. For centuries, the way information is shared in academia is through research articles. Originally, the scientific community was small enough that researchers would send letters to each other with updates and findings. Over time, as the researcher population grew, this one-to-one communication became inefficient. And instead of letters, scientific societies organized communication between researchers into journals, offering curated information to all of the society's members. Fast forward to today. Due to the sheer size of the global academic system, journals have been formalized into industrial-scale publishing systems belonging to an oligopoly of private companies. For a while, this was an efficient way to curate information, but over time, serious problems inevitably developed due to the nature of this system. Today, there is broad consensus amongst the scientific community that the academic publishing as a whole has deviated substantially from its ideal purpose, with the three big problems being 1. Proper merit attribution, 2. Economic gain mismatch, and 3. Trust in science. The merit problem. The merit problem concerns how scientific contributions are recognized within academia. In the current system, an author's position on a paper is imprecisely correlated to their contributions on that paper. These authorship positions are used for career metrics and funding applications, but they suffer from a high noise-to-signal ratio, meaning that it is often difficult or impossible to determine how much each author actually contributed to the work. And there are plenty of gameable exploits, meaning one's metrics can be optimized without optimizing for actual scientific contribution. As a result, there is often political maneuvering within labs and institutions as researchers jostle for authorship positions. Additionally, there is no recognizable form of credit given to other key roles within the scientific process, such as to peer reviewers and study replicators. The economic problem. The economic problem concerns how the direct financial benefits of a work of research is split up amongst the parties involved in the publishing process. In most countries, the taxpayer funds the vast majority of scientific research via government grants, and the researchers in academic institutions do the vast majority of the work for each scientific publication. However, almost all of the direct financial rewards from the publication goes to private publishing companies in the form of publishing and/or subscription fees. This cost is typically justified by the private publishing companies for providing one value add, and that's the curation of works by quality and by relevance. While this service is no doubt useful, it is done by peer review, which is an entirely volunteer effort by the academic community, and thus bears little to no cost to the private companies to perform. While the indirect benefits of research are still well worth the taxpayers' money, this system could be made much more cost-effective and accessible if the journal publication fees and subscription fees could be eliminated whilst preserving quality control. Open source publishing platforms have thus far eliminated fees, but they do not have stringent peer review processes or other reliable quality control mechanisms. The trust problem. The trust problem concerns how the body of scientific literature can be made more robust and reliable. At present, the vast majority of scientific findings are supported by a single study due to a general lack of incentive for replication studies. Because of this, for most research fields, it can be difficult for later works to detect errors in preceding works, and this can lead to serious issues whereby latent errors can negatively affect public policy, healthcare, or infrastructure decisions until the error is spotted and the publication corrected or retracted. The ever-increasing scale of academic research only exacerbates this issue and has noticeably affected public trust in science. Solving this problem entails having a mechanism for incentivizing replication studies that is robust to collusion. Introducing Liberata, an academic publishing platform that is open source and properly incentivizes all players in the scientific publishing process. This is a system designed to solve all three aforementioned problems, whilst relying only on the self-interest of each party within the scientific process and no altruism. In this system, instead of authorship positions on a paper, we have contribution shares, similar to shares in a company. The authors are then listed in descending order of contribution to form the author list on a paper. By this method, the credit assignment for different authorship positions on any paper can be varied from having a paper with perfectly equal contribution share distribution to another having one clear main contributor. This continuous scale of credit can more accurately and with more fidelity gauge researcher contributions, thus reducing jostling for coveted authorship positions. Additionally, this system naturally leads to a new set of metrics akin to market capitalizations, which we can think of as scientific capitalizations. One could measure scientific contributions of researchers, institutions, geographic regions, and even time periods by examining the combination of shares and citations for publications. Furthermore, the financial metrics of risk and premiums can also be used here in the Liberata system to gauge and measure retraction risk, contribution diversification, nepotism, and much more for researchers, institutions, and even whole subject areas. Most notably, however, this method unlocks crucial abilities for authors to incentivize peer reviewers and replicators by bidding for their services with those same contribution shares, allowing for the first time an open source publishing platform with quality control mechanisms. By giving away shares to peer reviewers, they are incentivized to do their job properly, as the better written the paper they review, the more citations it might garner, and the more valuable, by the new metrics, their shares in that paper will be. By the same logic, negligent peer reviewers can be detected by looking at lost share value due to retractions, and thus have their risk quantified, further promoting a rigorous peer review process. For authors, the shares given up to peer reviewers will be well worth it if the value from additional citations gained from that paper being better written and peer-reviewed outweighs the value of the shares given out. This system also produces an incentive structure for finding study replicators. Similar to the process for incentivizing peer review, authors can offer shares for replication studies, which may entice other researchers who were second to publish and want to make use of that work, or want to de-risk new ideas to build off existing research, or need training tasks for their students while contributing to science and accumulating credit. In many situations, minority shares in an existing paper may be well worth it to a replicator compared to the opportunity cost of attempting a new research idea, because the methodology has already been determined and provided. They may also have the right equipment to staff or make that replication easy and fast to do. As authors and replicators adjust their prices in terms of shares for replications, given the myriad scenarios their labs may be in, market forces will lead to price discovery and the efficient allocation of scientific resources for buttressing scientific findings and correcting errors with replication studies. Thanks for listening to this densely packed, brief overview of Liberata.